Really every character that I interacted with is either terrible, wonderful, or horrifying. Like, grab her by the face and pull her out the door. My memories blend in an orgy of blood and terror. I'll be finishing Malazan by the end of the next reading vlog as well, so that'll be fun, or devastating. I have finished Mask of Mirrors. I would have probably taken a lot longer on this if we didn't have the Patreon Buddy Read live stream, but we did, and I had a deadline, so I saw it through, and it was very good. I have pros and I have cons, so let me give you those. Pro: excellent character work. Do you remember me talking about it last week? If not, let me just real quick tell you. This is about this. The main character is Ren. She's trying to weasel her way into this noble house so that she and her sister can survive. They've been through a lot, and they have had a lot of insecurity and instability in their lives, and so she and her sister Tess are pulling off this elaborate con to be able to have a future that doesn't suck is basically their entire motivation, these poor girls. So Tess is a seamstress. She is very, very skilled at this, and she will create these very intricate costumes, designs, and allow Tess to kind of blend in and put on these different masks, these different personas to try to create a lot of different ways to manipulate the people around her. But as we learn as the story goes on, everybody in the story is wearing a mask, and as we pull those masks away, everybody in this story has their own agendas, their own plans, their own things that they're trying to accomplish. So, pros: character work, amazing. I loved Ren, especially in the second half of this book when things start unraveling. I love Ren. I adore Tess. She is one of the most sweet, sincere, wonderful characters I've read in a while. Really every character that I interacted with is either terrible, wonderful, or horrifying. I thought the plot was really interesting. I really enjoyed watching Tess assess every single situation as somebody would ask her a question, wondering how much she can reveal what was her last lie. How does she keep in a line with that? Can she expose this bit of herself, or will that cue something else? Will that give clues to someone? And then as well as that, also just trying to guess what the masks of other people are. There's a character called the Rook who not Tess, what's her name? I just said it. Ren is trying to figure out who is the Rook throughout this whole thing too, and that was very surprising to me. Just generally, I think that the story and the characters were really, really interesting, and while the pacing of this book, especially the first half of the book, was painful, the second half of the book was not. The second half of the book was really, really exciting, but even though the pacing in the beginning of the book was not ideal, I was still interested in the book the entire way through. I just didn't feel compelled to keep picking it up, I guess. But there is an extraordinary amount of world building at the beginning of this book. There's an extraordinary amount of information and characters thrown at you without really a lot to latch on to at the beginning. So the first half of this book, and it's a chunker, the first half of this book I was just kind of casually interested in and really not that excited to keep reading, even though I never wanted to quit reading it. I just always wanted to read something else more, and it wasn't until the second half of the book that I was like, okay, fully in, completely invested, which normally wouldn't be such a huge complaint, except that this book is not small. So that's a lot of book to get through with very mild interest. So I do think that that's a really big negative for this book and would turn a lot of people off. The world building is fantastic. It's very intricate, it's very well thought out, and it is really interesting. And there is a general intrigue throughout the entire thing, including the beginning, but we don't really get to know the characters until the second half. We don't get a lot of really compelling plot points until the second half, so pros and cons. Overall, I enjoyed it. I'm not in a hurry to read the second book, but I did have a good time reading the first book, and if it sounds like something that's interesting to you, I think that it had tremendous payoff. So I read that, and now I'm going to pick up something lighter and easier. Also, I'm going to keep reading Malazan and Hunter x Hunter, so I'm not going to do those things. Welcome to the vlog. First volume of Fruits Basket. I am really digging it. It's not like, I'm not crazy wild in love with it, but I am enjoying it a lot. Actually, I've been informed that this isn't even the first volume, even though it says 1, and the next volume says 2. Apparently this is volumes 1 and 2, or 1, 2, and 3. I don't know what I'm reading, but I finished this. I think it's really, really fun. So if you don't know, the setup for this is we follow this girl, Honda, I think is her name, and she has encountered this group of boys, these distant cousins who are all members of the Zodiac curse. Is it considered a curse? So the story is, if a male member of the Zodiacs gets hugged by a female, or a female member of the Zodiacs gets hugged by a male, then they turn into their Zodiac form. So a rat, a cat, a dog, a boar. So we're originally introduced to 3 of the boys, the rat, the cat, the dog, and we're slowly getting introduced to more and more of them, and I am enjoying it. Each of the characters are very distinct in their personalities, and I really like them. There's really not a character that I don't like. I'll show you some panels and I'll talk a little bit about it without going into spoilers. I think that the chemistry is written really well in this. So far, there's no romance, but I'm sure it's going that way. But stuff like when one of our characters is sad for a reason that shall not be named, one of the other characters just kind of pops in and like over her shoulder is like, so come home with us. And just like that physical chemistry is written really well in this. And then you have other characters that are less suave, that are just like, grab her by the face and pull her out the door, which just fits that character's personality quite well. So I enjoy them a lot for their physical chemistry, like that kind of the way they interact with each other is written really well, I guess, if that makes sense. I also really, really love the friendships in this, predictably. This is our main character here in the middle. Oh, there she is. And then these are her 2 best friends, and the way that they love and support each other and look out for each other makes me so happy. I love great friendships, and I don't read great female friendships that often, and I'm loving these guys. Plus too, also, I'm enjoying the main character more than I initially thought, because she kind of has this sort of airy ditzy vibe to her initially, but she's just genuinely a good-hearted person. At least I think she's the main character. And I mean, there's a lot of characters. I think she's the lead. But anyway, they're talking about her and they say, instead of wishing for all kinds of things, she treasures what she has right now, right here. And that describes her really well. And that's also a personality trait that I really try hard to have myself. Sometimes I fail, but it's a quality that I want, and she does. She's very sweet. We're being introduced to more of the cousins, more of the members of this Zodiac group, which is getting a little bit overwhelming because we already have our main character, or I think she is, we already have Honda and her 2 best friends, plus the 3 Zodiac boys, the 3 boys. And now we're being introduced to more and more, and the cast is getting large, but I mean, that's fine. It's not like I've never read a series with a large cast before, but I am starting to get a little bit overwhelmed, and that's okay. I'll wrap my head around it. I've also watched the first 2 episodes of the anime now because we watched it on my Patreon together, and it was super fun. I really enjoyed it. I might try to watch a few more episodes, but my word is worth nothing when it comes to me offering to watch things. I started another book as well, The Gilded Ones, and I'd love to read you this quote right here. Oh my golly, where's the quote? There it is. My memories blend in an orgy of blood and terror. First of all, you listed 2 things. Second of all, why'd you choose that word? Why? Of all the words in the English language that could have better described 2 and not more things, why'd you choose that one? Anyway, it's a pretty interesting setup. The main character is, okay, so actually in this world there are the Gilded Ones, which are like these terrible monsters, and they have been eradicated, but not before they mated with humankind. So the gilded blood is still trickling through. So they have this ceremony every year, I think, for the girls that are 16, I think. I don't always retain numbers, but anyway, they have this ceremony where these girls at a certain age have to go and be cut, and basically they look at their blood, because at a certain age, gilded blood starts to show gold. And if they catch a gilded one early, then they can cut off their head or burn them or kill them in one way or another, and then they're gone, and you know, no fear of them continuing on. But if they survive that, or if they're not caught in time, then their blood just gets stronger and they become near immortal. So our main character, shockingly enough, is exposed to be a gilded one. And maybe that's all the setup you need to know right off the bat. That's probably all you need to know. All that happens within the first several pages, so I feel like that's good enough. Anyway, since that reveal, which is inarguably the inciting incident, we've been doing a lot of like build up for something, and you know, things are happening. It's not like we're just standing still, and there's movement, there's world building, there's things going on, but I am 70, nope, that's not where I am. 78 pages in, I'm on chapter 7, and I'm just excited to get into the meat of the story. I feel like even though the big thing has happened, I'm still waiting for the story to begin. We're in kind of this weird in-between right now, and it's fine, but I would like more. But I'm also only 70 some pages in. It's not a terribly long book. It'll get going. Exhausted. It's been a long day. I gotta put my daughter to bed soon, so this is gonna be a quick, hopefully, check-in. The Gilded Ones. I am half done, near half done. Near half done. And I guess I don't really have strong feelings about it at the moment. Let's see, she's in a completely new environment, around a lot of new people, learning a whole new system, learning a lot of, it's an overwhelming situation for our main character at this point in the book, and it looks like this is probably where we're gonna stay. She's on a hunt to learn more about her mom, and she's meeting friends. It's a really rough world that the Gilded Ones is set in. There's a lot of very harsh people that she's now under, and there's also some very nice people that she's now under. So she's kind of learning the ropes, learning the new routine. It's a very physically strenuous routine. It's a lot more than what she's used to, and so there's a lot of that. I still kind of feel like I'm in a bit of a transition where now she's getting used to something completely new. She's getting more acquainted with herself, I guess you would say. She's not ashamed of being a Gilded One. She's shaking off that shame and stuff like that. So I'm still, I feel like at some point we're gonna get past where I am, where I just don't have much to say about it, and then we're gonna get to whatever the book is doing, or wherever it's going is what I mean there. So I just don't really have strong feelings about it. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's an interesting world, an interesting lead. There's a lot of really unique stuff that this book is doing, but at the same time I feel like I'm still just kind of waiting for the big thing that it's doing, if that makes sense. So jury's still out on this one. But I'm enjoying reading it. It's a quick read. I'm also reading Malazan and Hunter x Hunter, so I'll give you quick updates on those two as well. They will both contain spoilers, so we'll start with Malazan. Hit the time, go to the description, click the timestamp. There will be marked where you can jump to get to Hunter x Hunter if you want that, or jump to the end if you're not a reader of either of those series. For Malazan, I am now 627 pages in. Look at that bad boy. She's doing great. I'm almost done with part 4. There's actually been a lot that's been going on lately. This novel is just going. It's just going. The stuff, this is spoilers, the stuff with the Maibi, just her being hunted down by wolves in her dreams, in her dream life, her being terrified of her daughter, terrified and lamenting the fact that her daughter is literally sucking the life out of her, not wanting to hate her but genuinely hating her. Her struggle is just so intense. I hurt for her. Oh my goodness. But also there's so much that's happening to her in these dreams that is exciting and terrifying, and so much going on with her. Also, oh right, Perrin and Gruntle deciding that they're gonna legitimize the House of Chains and make the crippled god play by their rules. Stop. Stop. Oh my goodness. There was also another scene. I know I'm not saying much. I'm trying to make this update quick, but there's a lot going on. There was also the scene where Adamanta Rake, let me pull it up actually. The dragon glided back over the writhing mobs but did not unleash its warren a second time. Then Whiskey Jack saw Adamanta Rake's head turn. The dragon dropped lower, a wide expanse clearing before the Tinsari flung themselves away, leaving only a half score of figures lying prone but evincing motion nonetheless, slowly, agonizingly attempting to regain their feet. The women of the dead seed, the dragon flying now at a man height over the ground, symboled, blurred as it closed on the witches, reformed into the Lord Moon's spawn, who strode towards the old woman, hand reaching up to draw his sword. Oh my goodness, do you know this scene that I'm just reading a quick excerpt from? Do you know this scene? Oh my goodness! What's his name? Can Erikson write action or what? There's so many clever, funny scenes. There's so many intense, exciting scenes. There's so many devastating scenes. There's so much about this series that feels very exhausting to me, but at the same time, Erikson's ability to write every scene, every emotion, it's like I love the story. I love the characters. I'm exhausted and overwhelmed by it. But as a non-writer, I just feel like I want to study his stories just to study the craft, even though it's not me. But oh my goodness, it's just a lot. That was a quick check-in. I'm very sorry. My goal is to either finish this book by the end of the week or beginning of next week. If you're one of my people that watches my that keeps up with my schedule that I post in the community tab on the other channel, Malazan is slotted to be next Tuesday's video, but you know, if I don't finish it in time, I'll push it back. But it's definitely going to get a dedicated review soon where I'm actually going to look at the book as a whole and try to discuss it and not just picking out scenes that are killing me, which will be very hard, I think. But that's coming soon. Talking about Hunter x Hunter briefly as well, I have started the next arc, so I'm officially I've passed the anime, so if you're an anime only watcher, you definitely don't want these spoilers, but I'm now in the next arc, so timestamps, skip this if that's not you. But I've started the Dark Continent arc. I'm dying. The fact that Netero, he did that recording where he was like, this is not in order. This is not in order. This is not in order. And they come away with, okay, so we have an order then. And oh my goodness, I can't believe we're going into the Dark Continent. Threat level A. The Chimera Ants were B, they're A. I can't wait. My patrons told me to read chapter 0, I think, but there were 2 chapters, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But they had me go ahead and read some of Killua's backstory, where we got to see him as a kid in the beautiful forest where he grew up, and get to see him leaving his place of origin, his home village forest. And you know, we already know what happened to Kurapika's people, and it gives a little bit more information on that to keep it still kind of vague, just in case you haven't read that yet. Highly recommend. They told me to read that before I continue any further on with this arc, which has me believing that we're gonna go hang out with Kurapika soon. So I can't wait. Oh, I'm so excited for what this arc is going to bring. I haven't gotten very far into it, but I'm so excited for what it's going to bring. So those are some very quick rapid fire check-ins for these books. This week I read these guys, or at least made some progress in them. Next week I will for sure be finishing Gilded Ones, and I believe I'll be finishing Malazan by the end of the next reading vlog as well, so that'll be fun, or devastating. And I'll also be starting volume 2 of Fruits Basket, and of course continuing on with Hunter x Hunter. So that's my check-in, that's the vlog. Feel free to chat with me more in the comments. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the other channel, Tuesdays and Thursdays here. I'll see you again soon. Bye.